The seeker which has purely chosen the service to others path shall certainly not have a variant apparent incarnational experience. There is no outward shelter in your illusion from the gusts, flurries, and blizzards of quick and cruel catalyst. However, to the pure, all that is encountered speaks of the love and the light of the one infinite creator. The cruelest blow is seen with an ambience of challenges offered and opportunities to come. Thusly, the great pitch of light is held high above such an one, so that all interpretation may be seen to be protected by light. End of quote. Raw from the Law of One material. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Law of One Spiritual Advice podcast. My name is Elle, and today I shall read such a quote as I just did and give you my interpretations and spiritual philosophy ideas. So, today, the seeker which has purely chosen the service to others path shall certainly not have a variant apparent incarnational experience. That's a lot of words there, isn't? What is shall certainly not have a variant apparent incarnational experience? Well, when you read the next quote or the next sentence in here, it tends to add a little explanation as to what they're getting at, which is that in this illusion, the third density that we live in, what we call life, right? They're kind of saying here that as we choose the service to others polarity, that path, sometimes you think that we shall become impervious beings. We shall become infinitely magical beings who, nothing bad should ever come to us or happen to us because we are, pure and we have pure mind, and therefore we create our reality and everything is wonderful. And that is not true. So it is and it isn't, but it's more about a perception thing. So when they say here, there is no outward shelter in your illusion from the gusts, flurries, and blizzards of quick and cruel catalyst, in my opinion, this is just basically experience. As things happen to us in life, we may consider them bad or good. And obviously a lot of the flurries and blizzards, right, is a bad sort of connotation with that. It implies a bad experience. And so I guess the idea here is that the illusion provides us experience. The experience can be seemingly bad or good, but it is all catalyst. That's why they call it catalyst. Catalyst is something that increases the rate of something. So it will increase the rate of your growth, the rate of your learning, the rate of your knowing, the rate of your becoming you, as you deal with the experiences of the day. So continuing on with the rest of the quote there, they say, however, to the pure, all that is encountered speaks of the love and light of the one infinite creator. The cruelest blow is seen with an ambience of challenges offered and opportunities to come. Stop right there for a moment. All those experiences, all those terrible types of things that happen to you can be seen in the light of, hey, this is a challenge, right? Without the dark, there wouldn't be a thing as light because there would be nothing to compare to. Everything would just be light. So we have this dark and we have this light so that we can have the contrast between the two different things in order to basically learn and to make choices and to experience things. So as the dark and the seemingly bad things, the cruel blows that hit us in experience, if we see them in the proper perception, it is that these are opportunities. These are opportunities to learn. They are opportunities to serve others, right? If somebody's suffering or in pain or sick, well, there you go. You have an opportunity to serve them. And in serving them, they may learn something. And who knows, maybe that might be the thing that they needed to learn that will then help them come to some sort of peace within themselves that heals themselves. And this is sort of the way that things are, is that right, something terrible happens even to you. Well, this is an opportunity to love yourself and to get to know yourself better and to learn about healing and really, right, because when you go attempt to serve other people, often it is in that you've already experienced something within yourself that you're now able to reach out the hand and help somebody else with the same sort of thing. And therefore, even if some bad thing happens to you, you can still see it as, hey, this is an opportunity for me to learn, to know myself better, to learn love better, to learn patience better, to learn compassion, wisdom, whatever it might be. And then as you do that, they state here, thusly, the great pitch of light is held high above such an one, so that all interpretation may be seen to be protected by light. Okay, so then, this gets into some heavy metaphysics because they do mention the word protection, and it says so that all interpretation may be seen to be protected by light. That can be complicated. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, as in like this offers you perfect protection just to have a perception this way. That's not to say that bad things can't happen to you or that like somebody couldn't, do something terrible to you in the street, like rob you or something like this. But the idea is that all of these things that happen, I suppose the other portion is a quote from the Law of One that's something like, in order for you to graduate from this density, you must understand that you do not understand. I use that wisdom applied to my life in terms of experience, that sometimes my feeble mind doesn't always understand everything. Sometimes my ego takes a hold of my consciousness and points it in a direction that thinks I'm maybe going in the right direction, but maybe the Creator has other plans for me. And so if I sort of trust the infinity, the intelligent infinity of the Creator, then I do have to sort of understand that I do not understand, that I have a finite mind. I can't necessarily understand the infinite mind. And so if a certain experience needs to be delivered, is it being delivered for me? Is it being delivered for somebody else in my vicinity? Like such as a terrible disaster, something like this. Nobody really knows why any of this catalyst may be coming our way. So there's no shelter from the gusts and the flurries and the blizzards. But we can sort of have the protection of light in perception that all of this experience is for our growth and is catalyst for our learning, so that we can become better creatures of love. And with that, we shall be protected by light in vague sort of ways. And I can continue on even. There is some other quotes here from Quo, who is, I'm sure if you're aware of the Law of One, you've maybe heard of Quo. It's a little bit of a different material, but it's conscious channeling, so it's not like the unconscious channeling of Ra, but they state very similar lessons in that they're trying to explain the same sort of stuff. So they state, in 1986, November 16th, from some of the Quo material, they state, "If you see anything except the face of love, you are having difficulties with perception. Forgive and forgive again. Forgive yourself. Forgive any who seem to have hurt you, remembering that you have faulty perceptions if you do not see love in every situation." End of quote. And I posted this one on my Law of One Instagram today. This is Monday that I'm recording this. I usually record Mondays and post my podcast on Tuesdays. But somebody kind of took exception to this quote, and that they were stating that the way that they sort of read it was that, if you see anything except the face of love, you're having difficulties with perception. It's easy to see that as sort of gaslighting the self. Like, what do you mean? Evil doesn't exist in the world? Like, bad things don't exist? And they make a good point. They're correct in saying that there's some distortion with this sentence if you take it sort of too literally. So what my answer to this person was something along the lines that, like, yes, you are correct. Evil does exist in the world. Bad things exist. But as some other quotes mention here, it's about seeing past the personality husk of other selves to the heart of other selves, to the seed of the self, which is love. And so if you know that sort of all evil in the world and all bad things that seem to be happening in the world and coming from other selves and even from our own selves is usually love. It's love distorted, right? Everything was born of love. Everything is love because the Creator is born of love, and therefore we are aspects of love ourselves. But just in a more general sense, all evil is generally some sort of love which has become distorted to a point where it's hard to see it as love. So the more pure that we become in service to others and pure in our perception of oneness and unity, the more that we can see past those husks of personality that will either annoy us or anger us or cause us all sorts of issues, and we attempt to sort of look past those things. Well, you have to deal with the personality head on as well. I'm not trying to say that you're ignoring the personality. You absolutely have to deal with people's personalities, but what you're doing while you're doing it is you're basically being more patient, more loving, more humble in your dealing with this other self as you see the heart of them. You try to see past the personality husk to the heart of the self, and then you are more in my opinion, in alignment with reality. You're more in alignment with what is, and therefore you are hopefully bound to serve in a more pure manner and, maybe have some better results, etc., etc. But, of course, right, a pure server does give without expectation of return. So that is another thing to always keep in mind as we are attempting to serve and looking for specific outcomes. We have to sort of back off from that and attempt to just be love and be the best possible you that you can be in that moment. And then Ra adds on to this same idea from session 42.5 about what this person on Instagram was trying to critique. And Ra mentions here, balance is not indifference, but rather the observer not blinded by any feelings of separation, but rather fully imbued with love. End of quote. So what are they saying? Balance is not indifference. So what is indifference? Well, that's kind of what this guy was implying, that maybe some people read these quotes and they think that to just look at the world with complete indifference is the way to be, right? It's just sort of like to have no feelings. And that's not the thing. It's not that you're indifferent to evil, right? You look at evil, you understand it, you try to feel it, you try to understand where it is born from, and you try to see that it is born from love. And with that, you're doing, as they state in the quote, rather the observer, not blinded by any feelings of separation, because indifference is basically you embracing separation. So you're not trying to be indifferent or feeling feelings of separation, but rather you're trying to be fully imbued with love. In other words, you're trying to see the situation for what it is, which is a situation of love. All situations, all experiences, as distorted and challenging and convincing as they might be, are experiences for us to learn the ways of love. That is what we are here to do in this third density. As we make the choice to serve others or to serve self, then we are dealing with the lessons of love in serving that self or serving others or serving both, as we attempt to serve the self and others as the creator, which is what true service to others is. It's both of those things. And then the service to self polarity is just one of those things where they see themselves as the perfect center of the creation and the creator themselves, whereas we in the service to others path are attempting to see ourselves and others as the creator and all things as the creator, and in that light, right, being protected by the one, because we all are the one and there is nothing but the creator. And so there is nothing but just the creator serving the creator in various ways, in various distorted ways, and we with that have to have some trust and faith that this is what we are here to do, and whatever we do, we just do our best and try to see with the eyes of love and interpret things with the eyes of love so that we can operate in this density more in alignment with what is. And so, my friends, I just wanted to do a quick one today. I'll be honest with you, the last few weeks I've been having trouble finding the creative efforts and the creative power or whatever it is to record these podcasts. I'm not sure. I'm just sort of struggling a little bit. You can tell by the last couple of podcasts, they're about not giving up. So here are my attempts to not give up. I'm sorry if the quality has slipped a little bit. I'm just trying to do my best with what I can without, having to stop doing this and take a time off. I do want to try to persist because I know there's power in persistence. So thank you guys all for listening. It is a short one today. I love you guys. I hope you take care. If you appreciated the podcast, make sure to give it a like. You can leave me a comment. I like to read those. I will eventually reply to them. And if you find value in what I do rely on the assistance and the charity of other selves, such as you wonderful people who listen to this, to support me freely on my Patreon at theoneinfinitecreator.com. There's a Patreon link or one-time PayPal. I just did my taxes and I accidentally owe a bunch of money. Not your fault. But anyways, if you guys could jump on there, that definitely helps me and helps me to continue doing this, and obviously pushes me even on days when I'm not completely feeling it to want to get out there and show you guys some love and show you that I care about you putting your money where your mouth is, and to everyone else as well, of course, that can't contribute in those ways. That is no problem at all. I love you regardless. All I hope to do with these podcasts is just to serve. And so if there's anything that resonates with you in this, please take it and please drop the rest. And otherwise, I will be talking to you guys again next week. So take care, everybody. Love you.